Black girls are told to stop walking around grinding pebbles in their mouths. They are told to smile. Nobody wants a black girl with a sad face. Black girls are warned about their pretty faces, how their smiles can be magnets to the monsters of the wild. They are told and warned to be careful that pretty face doesn't lead you into the woods. Nobody wants a pretty girl with a lost face. Black girls are told to cover up their pretty faces, to embellish their features to resemble a face drawn away from theirs. They are told to cut, pluck, and contour the pretty face like a cover girl, but not too fake. Nobody wants a pretty girl with a lost face. Nobody wants a pretty girl with a boring face. Black girls are told everything but how pretty they are. Nobody wants a pretty black girl that knows it all. Thank you. My second poem, I want to start by saying that the statistic remains that every 3 hours in South Africa, a woman is killed. So the following poems are an exploration on that statistic. This is called Whiplash. Over my childish shoulders, my school bag is pulled off my back during assembly. I swear I'm going to get those boys back. We line up in our grades, stand face forward, shortest to tallest. Whiplash. A human-like monstrous boulder delivers a growling greeting in the street outside my house, then again in the taxi, and again inside a church I'd rather no longer be in. Over my shoulder, a smirking, wanting son wants me to say hello back. An offensive predicament, and I don't want to be nagged or forced to respond or forced for not responding while facing him. Over my shoulder, I want to swallow my name. I want to forget where I'm going. I want to forget or how to say hello. I want to say, leave me alone. I'm learning to scribble the different names on a list inside my bones to remind my body how to respond to the unnerving fixation on my attention. A gaze the boys always knew how to give, but an invasion us girls never knew how to explain. The breaking of the fourth wall by the onlookers, brothers, always lurking on the sides of my shoulders. Whiplash. Over my shoulder, I want to put out this fuming fear. From the back of my head to extinguish the flames, my coiling hairs, the sweaty palms. My body always knows when we are in danger. My body and I. My body assumes flight, assumes risk, assumes walking away, assumes walk. Whiplash. It was the way he looked at me. Their eyes chase me with the stare, and my feet fleet. Gradually puts his arm around my shoulder and says he's just joking, then demands my attention. Similar to the way he did in school. A boy I went to school with insists he can touch me. He reminds me of my innocence, and this to him says he has the permission to offload his unsolicited greeting. He jumps over my body, over my shoulder, and delivers his unsolicited greeting to feed his fantasy. I jog my memory to every time I was ready to run, and that is every time, and I do not stop until I remember my body. It is always at risk of being stripped from me. Every day, every 3 hours, the earth cracks open and one of us falls in. Over my shoulder. I don't want to look back and be hollered at and be whistled at, for my body to know a different kind of looking back. Thank you. Is everybody still okay? Okay. Cool. My last poem. Earlier on, I think it was during 2020, we had like a digital blackout that was like a sort of online protest that was happening around sort of protecting women around the world. And it got me thinking about, what if like women just took a break? Like what if we just didn't show up in the world, all of us on one day? What would happen, you know? So this poem sort of explores that kind of silence that we would experience and the silencing that happens to us within the world. This is called Mute. As violent as silence, the rage from our dying pines and roars everywhere in my body, an unnerving fixation to offload, to unmask the screaming target. Tell me where under the skin does it read target? We die with the silence and still no answer. The fury itching beneath our feet with nowhere to run. The echo gathers the footprints, gathers the bloodstains, gathers the last words, gathers the found items, gathers the scent of a woman and straps terror in our chests, an army with no ammunition. Have you ever heard of a war with no sound? A crowd of thousands and thousands silence moused. We carry the echoes left humming at our scene. They mutilate our screams and we become a humble beckoning. We become an obedient cry, a careful demonstration over the taking of our lives for our lives. We fight with all our lives for our lives. The tightrope of it all, lip biting and anxious at the core. The calming anger before the war, a silent picket like a blackout to mourn her story in a country where she is voiceless, where even love is not the armor from her lover, where so many of us land below your ground so we do not speak. Deafening quiet as we wait for the next hour. Maybe if we all sat still, ghost-like and tight-lipped, our silence could mute the clock. Thank you.